If you're ready to move on from the world of RC bashing and into the world of RC racing, these two ready-to-runs right here might be your ticket to hitting the track successfully. They're based off the TLR 8X platform, so they've got some racing DNA, and they're assembled from the factory. They have a sensored brushless system in them, as well as the other Spectrum electronics you're going to need, and even the bodies are partially painted for you, making it really easy to get this thing up and running. You're only gonna need a battery and charger. I'm gonna get these things out of the box, show you their exciting features, then later on, I'm gonna hit the track. So here's what you get in the box with the Buggy and the Truggy. It's pretty much the same thing, so I'm gonna go over it at the same time. We'll start off with the Buggy over here. Of course, it's assembled. It has a partially painted body. You get to choose the final color or colors if you want to do some sort of fade paint job. You also get the DX3 radio system, a pack of decals here. Lots of decals, some for the wing. You got the window decals, and then you got a Losi decal. You could throw that on the back of your car. Instruction manual, AA batteries, a box wrench, the large box wrench with the 17 on it, so you can take the wheels off. Looks like a shock nut tool as well. Some Velcro straps, and then over here, same thing really. It's the Truggy version. You also get the paint the body on this one, DX3, batteries, decals, all that good stuff. All right, let's take a closer look at the vehicles now. And as I just mentioned, the bodies come partially painted, which really helps with getting the Buggy finished up and going. They've got a really cool scheme on here. They even have a Losi emblem on the top. Same over here on the Truggy. Like the look of it, that it's got the cab forward with the covered shock tower. No bruggy body here. It's got the double deck spoiler on the back. We've seen those on Losi vehicles before. And then let's check out the wheels and tires while we're here. So the Buggy doesn't have Proline tires. I'm gonna give you a spoiler. The Truggy does, which is really cool. But these are a Losi tire. They're fairly soft, maybe more like a medium compound foam insert. I think it's a urethane insert on the inside. Pre-glued from the factory, 17mm hex. Pretty much all Buggies have the same style, 17mm hex on it, so you could swap it out with your favorite AKA or Proline tire or whatever. Then over here, again, Proline on these. So these are the Convict tire. Again, more of a medium compound on this. I think I'm definitely gonna have to find some soft tires for the track I go to, but the foam insert on this one feels much softer. So I'm actually interested to see how those work out. All right, let's take a look at the chassis now. The chassis, suspension, drivetrain designs of both the Buggy and Truggy are gonna look very similar to the TLR racing versions. However, these have been toned down a bit for ready-to-run use, and that's how they get the price down on everything. And I'm going to go through some of the changes that they've made up here, but you're still getting that race-winning design and suspension geometry, so these Buggies will handle like a modern Buggy will. So looking at the chassis first, it's a black anodized chassis, countersunk on the bottom. Looks like they got some nitro cutouts on this one, so maybe we'll see a new nitro Buggy at some point. I don't know, but look, it's got some droop screw tabs there, and so you'll be able to just droop on this. Up top here, the battery goes over here on the side. Plenty of straps to hold down that battery pack. I think you could put 2 shorty LiPos in there if I remember correctly. The chassis has some bracing in the front and rear, receiver box over on the side, front chassis stiffener that goes over the twin bell crank steering, and this looks like they just pulled the steering from the racing Buggy. I like the thumb nut adjust on top that clamps down. But let's swing it back around and look at the front suspension. Pretty heavy duty looking arms, similar in design to the racing vehicle. Coming out to the hub carriers, they now have a C-hub setup, cast metal steering knuckle. I don't like the kingpins that they use in here. It's just a step pin screw versus having like a top hat bushing in there, so there's a little bit of slop in those. It's got adjustable tie rods, and then the shock towers here, those are stamped. So instead of a machine shock tower, they just punch these out, anodize them, throw them on the car. You got sway bars front and rear, and then the rear suspension, longer travel shocks in the rear. You got H-arms in the rear that go out to the hub. Plenty of mounting positions, so you can adjust the shocks and the camber points. They've got aluminum plates holding the inner hinge pin pivots, and even the outer pins are captured on the outside with a retaining nut. So that's definitely better than the old school screw pins or E-clip pins, anything like that. Moving on to the drivetrain, like other racing Buggies, it's got a front, center, and rear gear differential, metal gears on the inside, ball bearings supporting them, metal ring and pinion, steel out drives, and then in the front, you've got universals, which is great. And because this is a ready-to-run Buggy, we have dog bones in the center and dog bones in the rear. I am noticing that my center differential has some oil on the outside, so it looks like Might be a little bit of leaking there. Hopefully not too much has seeped out of that thing. I like the motor mount on this. It's an aluminum motor mount, goes right to the center diff mount, so it's all one piece, really solid. It's a sliding type of setup, so you go adjust your pinion, slide the motor if you need to. Now the electronics, you got the 665 steering servo. This is a high torque servo, metal gears. It's got aluminum center section in it. It's got, you know, it's got some torque to it, so it's a lot better than most of the ready to run servos that are out there. Better for racing purposes. Then you got the Spectrum Firma speed controller. This is one of the newer models. It does have some programmability to it, and it is fitted with an IC5 plug. Then finally for the motor, it's got a 2200 kV. This is a censored system, which is preferred for racing. We've had some race buggies, kind of ready to run race buggies in the past, and none of them had a censored system, but this complies with what racers are using. So that's the quick rundown on the Buggy, and it's pretty much going to be the same for the Truggy as well. Just we've got longer suspension arms on the Truggy, wider shock towers. Again, these are still stamped, and taller shocks, so it's got to have more suspension travel because it's more like a truck. And you can go and upgrade these vehicles, so if you want to go and add the racing parts to it, they will drop right on. So if you want to get the machine shock towers, you'll be able to upgrade to those later on down the road. We'll take a quick look at the chassis underneath. Still similar to the Buggy, just got the longer rear section, and I see those cutouts again. That could mean something in the future. 6061 mudguards on the side, still has that long battery tray into the drivetrain, front, center, and rear gear differential, dog bones in the center and the rear, and universals up front. Same servo setup, same speed controller, and then this motor, they went with a 2250 kV, so that's got a little bit more scoot to it, and it's still a censored system. So I gotta go and finish painting up the bodies. I've got some Spectrum battery packs to throw in here, and I'm gonna go hit the track tonight. All right, guys, up at RC Madison, Enfield, Connecticut. It's supposed to be a race night, Tuesday night, but it doesn't seem like anybody's showing up, so it's got to be a good practice night. And this is my first lap with the Truggy. Just got to take it really easy. Nice and smooth so far. Got some brake, good braking. Start ripping on it now. Whoa, we need some tires. All right, so I got a decent lap down. It's got a good setup out of the box. I like the way the thing rotates, but it definitely needs some more tires, or just better tires, softer tires. Yeah, I'm getting used to it. Man, if I just had some better tires, I'd probably be cranking on it already. Got plenty of steering in the truck. There we go, got the jump down that time. Just gotta take it nice and smooth since we don't have the best tires on here. I keep saying that, but tires make the world of a difference. I like the power though. It's got power. If I could just get this power to hook up, that Spectrum system's rocking. The brakes are good. Maybe a little heavier oil. Redo the diffs in this. I don't think this needs much work. I'm pretty impressed. I think I like it. Okay guys, time to get some laps in with the buggy now. The thing's got some rip to it. This is literally my first lap with the buggy. So I'm just gonna take it easy like last time. This one rotates well too. Of course I crashed it. Sails nice and level through the air. Good acceleration out of the corner. Ripping on the straightaway. This one's got some more traction to it. These tires are a little softer than the Truggy. Need a little bit better run up there. Oh, major air. A little understeer in that corner. There we go. Figure that jump out. I took these to the track so I could show you guys me racing them during a club race, and unfortunately nobody showed up for Tuesday night racing, so I'm going to start this off with a quick little reminder to support your local track. If you want to go racing, you guys got to show up and support the track. But anyway, I wound up just getting some practice in with them, and I drove them completely stock out of the box. no adjustments whatsoever. And as you guys saw, I got around the track pretty well. These things are really well set up and they could be improved a bit. I'm gonna go over that, but I was really impressed with the package that Losi has provided here. These things jump really well. They corner really well. The throttle and brake on the Spectrum speed controller setup, really manageable. Even the handling characteristics for the most part were really good. No durability issues other than some scraped up bodies, and I did have a few tough tumbles with these, but what I think they really need right out of the box is some new tires. Now the tires on the Truggy, these are almost like a turf tire. We were talking about it because they have like a plasticky feel to it and a really light insert, and it was just getting too out of shape going through the corners. I love how the Truggy rotates, and even the Buggy as well. The Buggy was a little bit more planted with these tires, but still, it could use a tire change too. And I think once you go and just swap out the tires on this, it's gotta be a lot more dialed in, and you need to get the tires specific to your track. So check around before you go and pick some tires up. But once you do that, this is gonna be a very drivable Truggy. Same with the Buggy, just a tire swap, and I think it's gonna do well. The other thing is setup. The rear, there's a bit of sag in the rear of the Truggy. So what I would suggest doing is going over to the TLR website, finding a setup and using the ride height settings and the droop settings from one of the racers to set it up. And I think it's gonna go a lot better. And then at some point, I think you should definitely change out all the oils just to get fresh oils in there, number one. But number two is, like, my center diffs are seeping, so I know that they're not providing optimum performance for laying down the power. So again, refer to a TLR setup sheet and use those oils that may work for your track, because there's different types of tracks, and that's how you're gonna wanna pick out your setup. Just talking to the guys at the hobby shop who have seen some of these on the track, guys that have never raced at all before, they noticed some guys breaking some stuff. And obviously I don't have any breakage to report because I've driven a lot of A scale before, actually let a couple other guys drive it as well. And for someone that's driven, they're gonna get them around the track well. Breakage is gonna be a lot less. But you can go and upgrade the parts again to the TLR vehicles so you can grow into these. These are just really a great entry into racing. They're really well equipped, and for those that are on a budget that want to go racing, I think they're going to be a really good option. Hopefully I'll get back to the track, do a couple little setup tweaks and do a follow-up video, but right now I really like these vehicles. I think they did a great job with them, and if you're really into them, you want to start club racing, I'll have links in the video description below.